Put these napkins, that's what I thought. I was trying to figure out something. When you
Yeah.
do this.
Did I give it enough, or do we need the napkins with it? It depends on where you stand.
That's actually better.
I think that's good.
That's better.
Yeah.
David. So we put a little folder behind it, some napkins, so it's sitting up quite a bit at an angle. So I think it's better.
Well, good morning, everyone. We're a couple of minutes away from getting started, so if you would please find your seats. Thank you. We'll be starting here in about a minute, so if you could please find your seats. Thank you. I guess my watch is a little fast compared to the official clock up there. All right, we'll go ahead and get started here. Good morning. I'm Dwayne McGaw, General Manager from KMSU, and I would like to welcome you to our 2023 University Convocation. The flags on either side of the stage are a representation of the different home countries and sovereign nations of our current students. We also take the opportunity to recognize that we live, work, and learn in the homeland of the Dakota people, whose language frames our name, Minnesota State University, Mankato. Now, if you would please stand and join in singing the university hymn.
Minnesota State we hail, hail the purple and the gold. All alumni, old and new, take you with them when they go. From the hilltop, from the prairie, where the river bends to lead them, we are walking proud and strong.
Thank you to Michael Thursby and the Maverick Machine for joining us today. Let's give them another round of applause. You may now be seated. It is my pleasure to introduce you to our university leadership, and I'd like to start by recognizing the president of our Minnesota State Mankato Student Government, Sierra Reuter. Please stand and receive our thanks, Sierra, for your leadership and for representation of the student body. And now I'd like to introduce members of the President's Cabinet, Council of Deans, and Expanded Cabinet. And when your name is read, please stand and stay standing. And audience, please hold your applause until the very end. Dr. Edward Inch, President. Sherry Sargent, Chief of Staff. Dr. David Hood, Provost and Senior Vice President for Academic Affairs. Dr. Lynn Akey, Vice President for Student Success, Analytics, and Integrated Planning. Mark Johnson, Vice President for Information Technology Solutions and Chief Information Officer. Dr. Henry Morris, Vice President for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. Richard Straka, Vice President for Finance and Administration. Dr. Ane Dahlman, Interim Associate Provost and Dean of Global Education. Dr. Timothy Berry, Interim Associate Vice President for Faculty Affairs and Equity Initiatives. Dr. Jennifer Veltzos, Interim Associate Vice President for Curriculum and Dean of Graduate Studies. Dr. Terry Wallace, Interim Associate Vice President for Research and Dean of Extended Campus. Dr. Patricia Marinsik, Dean, College of Allied Health and Nursing. Dr. Megan Mahold, Interim Associate Dean, College of Allied Health and Nursing. Dr. Sean Bach, Dean, College of Business. Dr. Jean Haar, Dean, College of Education. Dr. Chris Brown, Dean, College of Humanities and Social Sciences. Dr. Chip Panahan, Associate Dean, College of Humanities and Social Sciences. Dr. Muhammad Alam, Dean, College of Science, Engineering, and Technology. Dr. Aaron Budge, Associate Dean, College of Science, Engineering, and Technology. Dr. Chris Corley, Dean, Library and Learning. Cindy Janney, Dean of Students. Dr. Brian Martinson, Interim Executive Director of Minnesota Polytechnic and Applied Learning Institute. Amy Cooney, Interim Associate Vice President for University Advancement. Amy Meckler, Associate Vice President for University Marketing and Communications. Dr. Kelly Meyer, Assistant Vice President for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. Paul Corcoran, Assistant Vice President for Facilities Management. Steve Smith, Assistant Vice President for Budget and Business Services. Elizabeth Whitcomb, Director of Student Financial Services. Jill Frederickson-Kransky, Interim Director of Human Resources. Linda Alvarez, Director of Equal Opportunity and Title IX. Kevin Beisman, Director of Athletics. Dr. David Jones, Vice President for Student Affairs and Enrollment Management, and Kent Stanley, Vice President for University Advancement, could not be with us today. Let's give these folks a round of applause for providing leadership and direction to our university. You may all now be seated. Thank you. Next, we'd like to recognize our union leaders. And leaders, please stand when your name is called and stay standing. And audience, please hold your applause until the end. Dr. Sharice Truesdale Moore, President of our Faculty Association. Dr. Marie Slotemaker, President of Minnesota State Administrative and Service Faculty. Aaron Haroldson, President of our local AFSCME Council. Matthew Potoshnik, President of our Minnesota Association of Professional Employees. Matt Clay, President of our Middle Management Association. Kevin Schul, on behalf of the Minnesota Government Engineers Council. Tammy Dean, on behalf of the Minnesota Nurses Association. The university couldn't do what we do without your exceptional shared governance structure, so thank you for representing your various collective bargaining units and advocating on behalf of our employees. And at this time, I would like to take a moment to recognize and welcome the new faculty and staff who have joined us in this past year. Could you please stand and receive our applause? Welcome to Minnesota State University Mankato. We're glad to have you here. And now it's my pleasure to introduce Student Government President Sierra Roiger, who will share a few remarks with us today.
Good morning, and thank you for gathering here today. It is an honor and privilege to stand before you as the 91st Student Body President of Minnesota State University Mankato. A bit about me before we get started is I am a senior this year and majoring in business management and minoring in business law. And I, like many others, am still unsure of what the future holds for me. Now, I want to start off by sharing my gratitude to the staff, faculty, administration, and even the students for their support. We all know these past few years have been difficult and ever-changing as the university, along with the rest of the global community, navigated a major pandemic. The efforts of everyone here today and more did not go unnoticed, and we appreciate the continued support as we look towards the future of Minnesota State University Mankato. Already, we have seen the benefits of the work that was done through the increased desire for student leadership opportunities, the full on-campus housing, and the continued increases in enrollment we see today. Our university is not just a place of academics. It is a place that fosters the sense of community and togetherness that we all cherish. It's a hub of diverse perspectives, backgrounds, and experiences. It is this very diversity that fuels our university's greatness and sets us apart. The role of the student government in nurturing this sense of community cannot be overstated. We, as students, are the heartbeat of this institution, and it is our duty to work hand in hand with faculty, staff, and administration to create an environment where every individual feels valued, heard, and empowered to succeed. One of the key ways in which student government contributes to our vibrant community is by offering a range of services that enhance the overall university experience. These services span from academic support to mental health resources, from basic needs to civic engagement opportunities. The power of these services lies in their direct impact on the lives of our fellow students. Academic success is at the core of our mission as a university. Student government collaborates with faculty to ensure that we have the necessary tools to excel in our studies. This year, we look forward to continuing the work towards a more affordable education for all students, including through the continued advocacy for open educational resource usage by professors, promotion of services such as MathPass, the Maverick Textbook Reserve, and more. By supporting these initiatives, we are not only investing in our own education, but also laying the foundation for a strong academic community. Yet education is not solely about textbooks and lectures. It's also about personal growth and well-being. Mental health is a paramount concern, and our commitment to it is unwavering. Student government looks forward to continuing the growing partnership with the Student Athletic Advisory Committee through the Green Bandana Project. This project consists of green bandanas, just like regular green bandanas, that you can find on many students' bags and backpacks. And it lets one another know that we are all here for each other and anyone who may be struggling, and as a way to destigmatize seeking help. We will also continue to support initiatives such as the Maverick Food Pantry, which is open to all students, and we will continue to host a mini fridge in the Student Government Office in CSU 280 that will be filled with sandwiches for those who may need a meal in between classes. We firmly believe that a healthy mind is essential for a successful academic journey. Finally, we are also continuing to use our platform to support the increase of student wages. Many people in this room have noticed the increased pressure at current wages. The current minimum wage of campus jobs for students is $12 an hour. During the academic year, an undergrad student is limited to working a max of 20 hours per week. This year, we will continue the work that has been started by our predecessors and continue the advocacy for living wages for all on-campus employees. As we talk about the community we have here at Mankato, I want to explain the community that is student government. At the core of our mission is, of course, our students. All students have the opportunity to engage, learn, develop, and grow through service in over 250 spots on committees, boards, and commissions. Next, we have our senators. They represent the students of the different colleges, as well as our on and off-campus housing. Faculty, I encourage you to work with these student leaders as they begin working on individual projects in the coming weeks, and be supportive when they reach out with concerns, and understand that we only wish to help as we all want to leave the university better than we found it. Then we come to our coordinators. Our coordinators fall under the following titles: Student Affairs, Academic Affairs, Legislative Affairs, PR and Marketing, Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, and Student Basic Needs. Each of these coordinators work to meet with members of their various scopes, such as community leaders, our residential life director, various student groups, and more. I want to stress yet again that at the core of Minnesota State University Mankato is a community driven by the dedication of its students, the passion of its faculty, and the tireless efforts of its staff. The role of student government in this ecosystem is one of facilitation, of unity, and of service. Together, we can accomplish incredible feats. Let us continue to collaborate, innovate, and inspire one another as we propel our university to new heights. Our commitment to each other and to this institution will be the driving force behind our success. Thank you for your time, your dedication, and your belief in the power of community. Thank you, and roll Mavs.
Thank you, Sierra. And now, please welcome the 13th president of Minnesota State University Mankato, Dr. Edward Inch.
Well, good morning, everybody. You know, it sort of feels with the MAV machine playing and listening to our student president talk about the agenda that our students have for the year, sort of feels like we're already underway. It's time to start, and it's pretty awesome. So welcome. I appreciate everyone spending some time with us this morning to talk about the future of our university and the beginning of a new academic year. It promises to be a really exciting one. So thank you for the introduction, Dwayne, and thank you to all of those who came to join us today, both here and those that are afar online. And Sierra, I appreciate your comments particularly because of the goals that you set and the vision that you have for the students this year, but also the collaborative mindset with which you approach it. And like you, I have no idea what lies in front. It's an adventure. But there's nowhere else I would rather explore it than here with this community and with the people that are attending here this morning. So I want to take a moment just to reflect on this wonderful time of year. Our students are returning with their hopes and dreams for what awaits them. Our enrollment remains strong, as Sierra mentioned. Our residence halls are full, and our campus grounds look absolutely amazing. It's just a magical time of year, and so for everybody that makes this place possible, thank you. Thank you for all of the work that you put in. Thank you for all of the time and energy that you spend with our students. And it was so wonderful this morning to read the editorial in the Mankato Free Press titled, "MSU Students Return Boosts the Community." It said, in part, "The community is lucky to witness that rebirth every fall as new students come to town to pursue their degrees. As higher education everywhere takes a post-COVID hit, it is important to note that MSU has been a shining star in the state university system. That's not something to take for granted. Along with the cultural and economic contributions evident by being a college town, the community benefits from students doing their part to increase the quality of life for residents. I am almost daily impressed to see what our students are doing. The editorial continues. Welcome back, students. We hope you like it here. Thanks to MSU, it's a better place to live. And I think all of us feel that. This is a town that is built around a strong community, but probably most importantly for us anyway, is the strength of the connections that the university has with its region and the partnerships we have with the leaders throughout the area. It's a pretty powerful editorial, and it recognizes that we are who we are because of the work of all of us together to create exceptional experiences and exceptional educational opportunities for our students. It's one of the great reasons I like it here. But before I delve into this a little more, at the outset, I want to take a moment to recognize the important work that is taking place in St. Paul today and tomorrow. Negotiating teams representing the Minnesota State System and the Administrative and Service Faculty Bargaining Unit are working hard to reach an agreement to avert a strike that could begin as early as August 21. Our ASF colleagues, many of whom are here this morning, are valued employees who contribute greatly to those exceptional experiences our students have, as were reflected in the comments that Sarah just made. And while the outcome of these talks is beyond our control, I am truly hopeful and I'm optimistic that these teams are going to reach a positive settlement over the next 2 days. Yet, there are many, many difficult conversations occurring across our campus, and many of our colleagues are struggling with unbelievably difficult choices. So no matter how this critical week of choices goes, we will remain a community committed to the success of our students. And as the bargaining teams continue to seek a successful resolution, I hope we remember the importance of mutual respect, care for one another, and most importantly, the community of support that we've created for all those who engage with us. This is a challenging and difficult time. And more than you know, I wish that we in this room could resolve it. Because we could, I think. But that's not within our power. That's not what we're entrusted with. So we move forward, respecting the needs and challenges of our colleagues, focusing on the support for our students and pushing forward toward the long-term future of our campus. So this morning, I want to talk a little bit about what we can control, the strategic direction for our university, and how we will generate the big ideas that will lead to the inspired actions that will strengthen the social, the cultural, the economic fabric of our region, our state, and beyond. We already have a pretty terrific story to tell, and our faculty and our staff have positioned us to achieve our next level, the next level we are headed to. We have more than 135,000 living alumni, the majority of whom continue to live in Minnesota and power one of the nation's best economies. We have produced entrepreneurs, educators, innovators, social workers, scientists, poets, pilots, just to name a few of the many, many things that we do that support our state and one another. The point, though, is that working together, we, all of us in this room, make a positive difference. And I don't know that we always celebrate that enough or tell that story strongly enough. Last year's study of economic impact helps us tell that story a little bit. Our institution has an annual $827 million impact throughout our region. We contribute more than $59 million in state and local revenues and almost $10 million in community contributions. Beyond the numbers, though, we add so much vibrancy to the community through the concerts we have, the plays we have, the athletics we do, the gallery exhibits we put on, the lectures, the book reading, all of those things that we do that brings texture throughout the region. Last June, and you may have read it, an alumnus, Soleiman Torre, contributed an opinion piece to the Mankato Free Press. He is a 2012 graduate of our finance program and currently serves as the head budget analyst for the U.S. Department of Defense. He's recognized as a leader in financial and economic modeling in the Pentagon. His piece titled, Before the Pentagon, It Was MSU, is a tribute to the work that you all do every day. And just in case you don't know it to your core, the work you do impacts the lives of every one of our students in deep ways and positive ways. And sometimes in the moment when we've made a difference, we may not see it, but 10 years later, 5 years later, at some point, you will know it. Soleiman makes the important point that our community and campus together throughout our history have developed an exceptional and intertwined culture that inspires people. He wrote, "To those of us shaped by this incredible town, Mankato is more than a small town with an unfamiliar name. It is a town into which there is a true sense of community that is embedded, where people tend to strangers from around the world. It is a town that values kindness and embraces culture, no matter the origin, and rallies around its flagship university as a source of diversity, community, and excellence. Mankato is the epitome of excellence in higher education in a small town. MSU instilled in me rigor in education, perseverance in pursuit of one's dream, and equity and fairness in life." That's a powerful sentiment. And it is not unique just to one individual. It is something that I see in action every day as I talk to our alums, as I talk to our community. The relationships we have with one another and with our students from across the globe and our community that we weave through our different social and cultural fabrics, we all thrive because of the strength of these connections. This is what is remarkable about this place. This is what I feel so deeply about the work we are privileged to be able to do and the connections we forge with our students every single day. Soleiman's conclusion, I think, captures the sentiment. Mankato is the start for so many, a small town with deep community values that embraces everyone. I've formed lifelong relationships with so many, a population that comes running toward strangers and shows them what it means to be a community member. We should take immense pride in that. Last week, at our annual leadership retreat, a diverse student panel made the same observations. An excellent education on a campus that cares about student success and their well-being, and a community that embraces our students that come to them from around the world, that make this their home. As an aside, the panelists identified one of the significant indicators that our community likes our students. Many of our merchants offer student discounts, and they talked at length about student discounts. The panel members pointed out that that simple gesture creates a strong, positive connection. That people may not know that they offer a discount, but it's impactful. We have something truly special here, something that I find remarkable because our community helps us tell the story of what it is we do that has great impact. I mean, for example, there is an artist in town who is working hard to build the Mankato area collage. His name is Josh Madsen, and he has taken thousands of portraits of people from throughout the region, is constructing out of that a collage of what it means at this point in time, a snapshot of who we are that represents our culture, connections, relationships, and strength. I find that truly important. So I want to pause at this moment to recognize some of the leaders who are in the room that help make this difference, who strengthen our culture and help build connections. Because a university isolated up on a hill is of no help to a lot of people. It doesn't help our region. Our strength lies in what we do together. So as I call your name, if you would mind standing, and we'll appreciate your contributions here all together at the end. But the first is Jessica Beyer, CEO of Greater Mankato Growth. Jeff Brand couldn't be with us today. His flight was late, but Representative Brand has been tremendously helpful. Scott Carlson, Mayor of North Mankato. Najwa Masad, Mayor of Mankato. Paul Peterson, Superintendent of Mankato Area Schools. And then one person that we forgot to recognize right at the beginning, but I'll recognize him now, is Student Body Vice President David Mehta. Should be over there somewhere, I think. Somewhere. But if you'd all stand. Thank you. Your leadership makes a difference. We feel it every single day. Your tireless work supporting our cities, our region, and state are meaningful. And your partnership and friendship with Minnesota State Mankato makes a difference in how we're able to educate our students, the kinds of experiences we have, but our sense of community that supports our student growth and experience, things that Sierra mentioned. Of course, our successes that we have don't surprise me anymore anyway. Our students and our faculty and our staff work very hard to make a difference. They power a lot of the research and a lot of the contributions to the region. They do a lot of things that shape the area and shape our state. For example, the 2023 Douglas R. Moore Faculty Research Lecturer, Dr. David Charlin, shared his research findings about thyroid hormone disrupting chemicals and nervous system development. That's important. But what was really interesting about the lecture is that many of his students attended the lecture, and many more have gone on to research in critical health fields inspired by his dedication to this work. One person making a difference that webs out. Dr. Vicki Hunter is another good example, a professor of sociology that directs our Scholars Serving Time program. It offers life-changing opportunities helping prison inmates earn their degrees and go on to reintegrate into society. Dr. Shane Chow, professor in speech, hearing, and rehabilitation services, works with our students to support community members with dementia in the engagement program. Our 2023 Distinguished Faculty Scholars, Drs. Kevin Filter, Rachel Cohen, and Vincent Winstead, all exemplify the meaningful work happening at Minnesota State Mankato. Their work in psychology, biological sciences, electrical, and computer engineering are pushing boundaries in those fields, but as importantly, pushing our students to continue to inquire, research, write, and speak throughout their lives. This year at the Distinguished Alumni event, we recognized the accomplishments of 3 outstanding alumni making a difference. That's 3 out of 135,000, right? There are a lot of stories that can be told. These are the ones we highlighted last year. David Backus, alumnus in Applied Organizational Studies, was a Maverick hockey player who went on to play professionally for 15 seasons. He and his wife, Kelly, founded Athletes for Animals, an organization that has awarded more than $1 million in grant funding for animal advocacy groups. Aaron Holm is a 1990 public relations graduate who, following his own tragic accident, founded Wiggle Your Toes, a group that helps amputees regain independence and mobility, liberating dozens and hundreds of people. Nelsie Yang, a 2017 graduate in social work, became the youngest and first American woman elected to the St. Paul City Council, where she is now able to advocate for the future she wants to see for her community and for our state, a powerful voice. There are so many other stories, so many other compelling examples. But the point is, the students we educate make a difference, and we should be proud of that. I'm immensely proud of the work that we do. I think people around us see what we do and know the effect that we have. And you might have seen yesterday that this effort was recognized again for the 3rd year in a row, that Minnesota State University Mankato was recognized by the Star Tribune as the best college or university in the state. Our task is to be loud and very proud and very upfront about the value of a degree in this community, at this university, and how it empowers you for a life of inquiry, a life of building and imagining and creating. This is a good place for students to be. And around that idea, for the past 2 years, our campus has engaged in a planning process grounded in our history, our community, our successes, and looking forward to what it is we want to become in a rapidly changing world. And we had many, many serious conversations and discussions that comprise this work. We talked through the many challenges of our campus, and that like other universities, are likely to face: technology challenges, competition from other universities, remaining affordable, maintaining enrollment, and demonstrating every day the value of higher education. There were a lot of people that participated in this process on and off campus, because our goal, understanding that we have a close connection with our region, was that a strategic plan by a university on a hill doesn't do a lot unless we engage with all of the partners who make that work so meaningful. And through all of those conversations, I do truly appreciate the candor you brought to the table, the visioning that we engaged in together, the work that we did to write something meaningful. Through that work, Destination 2030, our strategic roadmap for the next several years, was designed, discussed, debated, written, rewritten, and written again. Thank you for your patience, because 2 years is a long time to write one of these. But we worked through a process that was important as we look to have a shared commitment about what our future is in connection with the region that we serve and the students we're going to educate. So I do appreciate and thank you to everybody who participated in that process. I don't know how many of you in here were engaged in any way in that process. Would you raise your hand? Because you all made a difference. And you helped us create something I think will be transformative for our region. So thank you and much appreciation. So today, we begin to turn our actions into our plans into action and move the university forward. Destination 2030 is our roadmap. It seeks to strengthen partnerships throughout our community and build a synergistic region that works toward the betterment of Mankato and beyond. As we talk about our story of place, our history, our dreams, culture, and character, the strength of our partnerships with our communities is vital. I've shared with people that our goal, the goal of Destination 2030, is 30 by 30. 30,000 students by 2030. That seems daunting, and many people said that was silly, but it's not. It's not impossible when you look at where our current enrollment is, you look at the number of people in our state that seek education, and what I have explained is the idea of 30,000 and how we count students is simply a matter of perspective. Destination 2030 pushes us to provide for an excellent education for all those who cross our threshold, whether they're matriculating as an undergraduate or graduate, everybody who crosses our threshold and seeks our abilities to help empower them, we will do our best to educate. We will educate every eligible Minnesotan and beyond with the programs they need, when they need them, whether they're an undergraduate, a graduate, working adult, return learner, or a business seeking professional development opportunities. We get to imagine broadly what we're going to do. Destination 2030 makes 4 commitments. The first one is that we will be a lifelong provider of access to an equitable and affordable education. Our goal is to be the first choice of undergraduate students and provide exemplary experiences that prepare them for the future. Our goal is to have cutting-edge graduate programs that meet the needs of our state, but also the learning needs of our graduate students. Building on our established excellence in our graduate programs, we look to expand in areas of critical need and opportunities that shape our region, state, and beyond. We will expand our professional development and continuing education programs to ensure that all learners at any point in their career and lives have access to rich academic opportunities. Our path forward depends on the connections we develop across the region and how successfully we can become a talent hub that energizes innovation and entrepreneurship. We will improve the transfer student experience and identify better ways of transferring credit and awarding credit for prior learning. And we will implement a strategy for equity and inclusion that supports the education of a diverse array of students who seek the opportunities that higher education provides. Now, there are headwinds, to be sure. I mean, you may have seen an article in the Star Tribune at the beginning of August with the title, "Minnesota is losing more college students than it attracts, a troubling trend." And yes, it is. In fact, an estimated 5,000 to 6,000 eligible students leave our state to pursue degrees elsewhere each year. In addition to that, we face a projected demographic cliff in the next 3 years that will further erode enrollment. That's across the country, but even more so in Minnesota. Those students we educate in our pre-K-12 system are recognized as among the best educated in the country. That's excellent, and we should be proud. But it also means a significant amount of competition for our students from many other universities that are coming into our market and into our state, trying to draw some of those 5,000 to 6,000 students. At the same time, public confidence in the value of higher education has wavered. Are we a good value for the dollars invested? Now, every data point I have says absolutely. The success of our alumni says absolutely. But as you may have read in the Wall Street Journal last week, the behavior of some universities casts a shadow on all. The article, "College is Spending Like There's No Tomorrow, These Places Are Just Devouring Money," cites one university in particular that for the last decade spent an average of $805,000 a day on campus improvements. That wasn't us. I mean, I wish, but that wasn't us. We need to be a clear voice about the value of an education in Mankato, of what it is we provide our students, and the strength of what we offer our community and our state. In fact, of all the public four-year universities in our state, we charge the least in tuition. We're a good value by almost any measure. And we're very proud of the excellent and affordable education that we provide our students. And our alumni tell the story. Additionally, the North Star Promise program recently passed by our legislature and signed by our governor provides a tuition-free pathway for qualified Minnesotans. It's time for us to get the word out. We need to tell our compelling story and be the campus of choice for students seeking access to higher education. Second, we will be a leader in transformative learning and generating inspired action. There was a time when 3 or 4 lectures a week and a lot of homework, a research paper, final exam, maybe a midterm, that was the curriculum. I grew up in that kind of a curriculum. That's not the case any longer. It doesn't meet our needs, it doesn't meet our students' needs, and it certainly doesn't meet the needs of people that seek greater opportunities out of higher education. Over the past few decades, technology has transformed how we teach, how we engage our students, and over this coming decade, technology will come faster and have increasingly disruptive effects. Our task in higher education is how do we grapple with this, learn to work with it, and help our students achieve more because of it. That means making strategic investments in high-impact learning, including connecting students with industry leaders, offering real-world experiences in every degree program, and looking to what's happening in model programs like MinPoly, the Glenn Taylor Institute, or the about-to-be-launched School of Applied Agriculture, Food, and Natural Resources that will start enrolling for spring. It means leading the nation in identifying areas of need and providing opportunities, like what is happening with the Center of Rural Behavioral Health. It means creating an infrastructure that provides learning spaces that accommodate new learning models, such as the Armstrong Hall Replacement Project. So thank you to our legislators who worked very hard to get the first phase of that bond proposal passed. It will make a meaningful difference in how we educate our students on this campus. Making those connections to provide every student with access to high-impact opportunities will require investment into a reimagined Center for Strategic Partnerships to help coordinate community engagement with our university and students in a way that provides internships, fosters mentorship, and creates impactful experiences. Third, we will be a community of care based on diversity, inclusion, and belonging. I think Sierra probably said it better than I'm about to say it, but the notion that it's not just what happens in a classroom that educates a student, it is the quality of the experience and the levels of support that we provide. How we create an environment that is inviting to all people and instills a sense of belonging requires our collective efforts of our university and regional leaders. So I want to applaud the Mankato Area Foundation for its leadership with the Greater Mankato Inclusivity Study. That was incredibly informative and worth reading if you haven't. The study highlighted regional strengths, one of which was higher education. 81% of the respondents feeling that their community offers quality higher education and post-secondary options. That's phenomenal. And I think it speaks to the great work that's already happening here. The survey also spoke to areas for improvement, such as housing and access to financing. Also areas we should work on. That affects how we are able to bring faculty and staff into our community. The university's Division of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion conducted a climate study on our campus last spring. It revealed areas of excellence, which made me happy to see, right? 76% of our respondents indicating that they were generally or very satisfied with the campus climate, 87% recognizing that our diversity is one of the great strengths of our university. At the same time, it has areas where we need to work. One in particular that troubled me was around everything from microaggressions to hearing negative remarks about racial or ethnic identity, about sexual orientation, gender identity. We have work to do. But I think we have a good foundation from which to launch that work. Therefore, on campus, the President's Commission on Diversity and the Division of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion have been tasked with developing a strategic plan to push these goals. One, I've asked them to help strengthen the campus climate based on the work that was done in the study. Second is to collaborate with the Greater Mankato Diversity Council to integrate regional efforts with our own so that we're able to work together in a stronger way. Third is to move forward with the Minnesota State System Equity 2030 goals. So I just want to take a minute to refresh what we know about Equity 2030. This is a commitment that was made in 2019 and reaffirmed by our chancellor, who spoke at our retreat last week. Equity 2030 seeks to eliminate educational equity gaps at every Minnesota State college and university. Now, this is an ambitious goal, but it is a necessary one. Success means a better educated population who may be the next great inventors, entrepreneurs, great, best artists, best healers. It's incredibly important work. And it lays the foundation for building a regional talent hub that has a diversity of idea, thought, and opportunity. Fourth, we will be a nimble and innovative steward of resources. Using our resources, human, physical, financial, prudently, is particularly important. We do not have $805,000 per day to invest in this. But we also need to have a care for our people, our community, and our students. So we need to ensure that we are focused on meeting our goals while providing opportunities to innovate and explore next steps. Over the summer, we began redesigning our budget process to better target investments and provide better incentives. Conversations with regional leaders about internships, mentoring, and student experiences are core to this effort. Early last fall, I invited a team from the American Association of State Colleges and Universities to review our organizational structure and offer feedback on how we might be more efficient. They were asked if any of our structures interfered with our mission and were there duplicative efforts that could be coordinated better or eliminated. Their review prompted some pretty powerful and intense conversations across the university, as many here know. But that helped us take a closer look at how we do things and ask the important question of why do we do some of these things? I understand, change is hard, right? We get used to things. But these discussions and debates, while sometimes tense, were a healthy way of looking at ourselves and yielded some of the initiatives I've described this morning. Other points that it made that we will move forward on have to do with how we are changing some of our functional areas. For example, we now have an administrative services unit that combines human resources, Title IX, equal opportunity, scheduling, data integrity, system liaison functions under my office. By the end of this year, athletics will be moved to report up through the president's office as well. We will continue to work toward automating workflow and reduce the Maverick Shuffle experience by many of our students. We will put in place both internship and transfer coordinators. The new Mav Connect advising program will launch this fall, utilizing predictive analytics and wraparound services. Professional advisors and faculty members and other campus services will be in a coordinated approach to how we take care of our students, because our advisors will have access to much better insights and be able to coordinate efforts across campus. Part of this effort includes professional development and certifications for advisors, which we will launch shortly. And finally, in response to the real need for a strong internal communication system, we are launching a project called The Fountain today. The Fountain is a place for us to share and easily find information needed by our faculty and our staff. A direct link button is being pushed out to all university computers, and the development team will be sharing more details over the coming days. We ask for your feedback about how to continue to improve this, but it's a source of where you find information, news, and all the things that people have told us over the last year they would like to see. The Destination 2030 goals are broad, and they are ambitious. And I'd like to say we could do them overnight, but we can't. They will take time to fully implement because we need to be clear about how we move forward, and we need to be practical in our approach. but they will focus our efforts going forward to overcome the challenges we're likely to face in the coming years. Right now, we have the opportunity to think forward and be the exemplar of education that we want to see through our connections, relationships, and intentions. So as you prepare for this academic year, I encourage you to have a stroll across campus and visit the red sculpture between Memorial Library and the CSU. That sculpture is called Waves, and the artist, Arnaldus Gruder, said, "Waves symbolize, in static form, the dynamic action of the ocean and a university." And for me, as I thought about that, I thought, well, maybe this sculpture that has stood on our campus for 50 plus years, maybe stands as a reminder of today, now, our opportunity to think forward and act with dynamic intention. Thank you for your time this morning. Go Mavs.
Thank you, President Inch. Now please welcome our Provost and Senior Vice President for Academic Affairs, Dr. David Hood.
Good morning. I have to get the glare off, sorry. Dwayne, thank you for the introduction. Good morning, faculty, staff, students, cabinet colleagues, and members of the Math Fam. And a special welcome to my colleague from Gustavus College, Brenda Kelly, the provost there. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you for an amazing first year here at Minnesota State University, Mankato, and welcome back to academic year 23-24. I hope that your summer months have provided you with an opportunity for some much-needed rest, rejuvenation, reflection, and time with those you cherish most. This summer provided an opportunity for me to continue my professional development and growth by completing the American Association of State Colleges and Universities New Provost Academy, along with 28 of my other new provosts from across the nation. And I also had the opportunity to represent the university in presenting with the Strata Education Foundation at AACU's Academic Affairs Summer Meeting. But most importantly, I was able to spend some much needed time with my family as we begin the transition toward a multi-generational home, with my mother-in-law increasing her time in home with Eric in Durham, and welcoming my relative Trey, a 10-year-old who is now joining our household and will experience 4th grade at Spring Valley Elementary School in Durham, North Carolina with us. As my personal journey illustrates, change is not something that we as individuals or as a collective campus community should ever reject. Thoughtful change that is informed and powered by dialogue represents a living organism and something that is growing. Nationally, higher education sector enters this academic year at a time of great uncertainty. We face questions about how higher education will both embrace and question innovations such as AI to advance our core mission of teaching and learning. External forces are requiring many universities across the nation to abandon their core commitment to being institutions that inspire inquiry, encourage rigorous debate, and serve as places that seek out, value, welcome, and nurture individuals from diverse backgrounds. Reinforced by Chancellor Olson in his comments at the President's Leadership Retreat last Tuesday, our #1 priority that we can all champion is and will continue to be Equity 2030. Therefore, as a community, we must reinforce our commitment to being an institution that fundamentally believes that our state, our nation, and the world are stronger and more successful when we educate, empower, and welcome all who seek us as their provider for lifelong learning. These indeed are tough issues, and the people of Minnesota State University, Mankato, that I have come to know over the past year have the intellectual capacity, the entrepreneurial ability, and the spirit of coming together to answer the big challenges we face. However, I can think of no greater challenge than the one facing our ASF colleagues. As President Inch said earlier, we do not have the power to change the outcomes of the negotiations. But as your provost, I will say, I have no doubt that our dedication and commitment of this awesome community will enable us to face these challenges together with respect for one another and a focus on producing an exceptional education experience to our students. My first year at MNSU was all about observing, listening, and learning about the traditions, the programs, the research, student experiences, and most importantly, the people who make this place something special. This was accomplished by setting aside intentional time for learning visits with academic departments, along with monthly coffee and conversations with faculty and staff and students. I also spent time learning about the impactful work of academic and non-academic support units, various bargaining units, and the many external partners from Hibbing to Rochester and several points in between. Although I was in a state of observation, there were many projects underway prior to my arrival and a great deal of foundational work critical to our future existence that had to move forward. The leadership and the entire faculty in the College of Humanities and Social Sciences engaged in constructive discourse to embrace change and establish a new organizational framework that will fuel the college's future by thinking about what they do and who they work with in new ways. In library and learning, the professional librarians and staff outlined a thoughtful roadmap for our campus to embark upon the most ambitious deselection project in our university's history. This project will create capacity for the university to redesign space to house the Learning Commons concept, and a cross-divisional team spent countless hours exploring. To facilitate this work, various members have engaged in virtual and in-person learning visits of Learning Commons located on campuses at Cal State East Bay, North Carolina State University, the University of Arizona, the University of Miami, and the University of Saskatchewan, and embarked upon invigorating conversations about how our service models might transform. Working collaboratively with the Faculty Association's leadership, adjustments were made last year to the Faculty Innovation and Faculty Research grant programs that drastically increased the number of faculty members being supported in a variety of important and development activities and research endeavors. The support for research led our university to reach a milestone in fiscal year 23, generating the largest indirect rediscovery in recorded university history. That's something to be proud of. To the tune of about $700,000, a little bit more, plus or minus. Indirect recovery is directly correlated to the amount of grant and contracts secured and funding. Did you know that our university has a 83% success rate with our contract and grant submissions? That's no small feat. And that's all because of the amazing researchers that we have here on this campus. In graduate studies, they focused on improving operations to better serve our over 2,000 graduate students and 420 graduate faculty. They created a one-stop information hub on D2L to support all graduate students from orientation through graduation, and they continue to develop online forms and processes for routine work. The office achieved a 1 business day response time to all prospective graduate student inquiries. And finally, last year, a representative group of 43 passionate individuals constituted the transfer working group. And this group explored operational, curricular challenges that impede students' seamless transition into our university. This group delivered a comprehensive report that provides a blueprint for the work ahead to make Minnesota State University, Mankato, a first-choice institution for transfer. I think we can all agree that these accomplishments are ones to be proud of. The work highlighted represents the type of engagement, critical analysis, intentional design, and commitment to the ideals of reimagining and subtraction that will allow us to achieve the goals and strategies outlined in Destination 2030. Our new strategic plan is designed to guide this great university on a journey to become a first-choice, premier, student-centered, lifelong provider of access to equitable and affordable education, and this year we will advance those goals. In academic affairs, we will lead the campus stakeholders in establishing a well-defined criteria and procedures for evaluating and articulating credit for prior learning. Solidifying credit for prior learning will prepare us to welcome an array of students from various points in their life journey and exponentially expand the number of students for whom MNSU will become a viable choice. We will continue the momentum of the Transfer Working Group to advance recommendations outlined in the report issued in spring 2023. The report calls for the university to identify a strategic leader for transfer. As President Inch indicated, early in fall semester, we will launch a search for the Executive Director of Transfer and Students in Transition. As provost, I will be working with the appropriate bargaining units to establish a transfer advisory group, and we will convene a transfer operations team similar to that of the enrollment operations group that is well established on our campus. Goal 2 of the strategic plan, which calls for the university to become a leader in transformational learning that generates inspired action, will require our community to examine everything we have come to know about this organization and the ideas of the academy. We will begin this examination this year as we work with an external partner to conduct a comprehensive analysis of our portfolio of undergraduate and graduate programs to include the modes of delivery, market demand, and competition within the market. This analysis will equip us with valuable data to inform the development of the university's next comprehensive academic plan, which will be completed by the close of this spring semester. This year, we will also launch our Higher Learning Commission Quality Initiative, which is a core requirement of the 10-year reaffirmation process, which will occur during academic year 25-26, right around the corner. The Maverick Quality Initiative, Online Student Success and Equity, aims to enhance the effectiveness of online instruction and quality online course design at Minnesota State University, Mankato by developing online course quality standards that integrate best practices in online learning, exceeds compliance minimums, and advances equity to enhance student success and belongingness in online learning. This project builds upon work that was already initiated last academic year by the Online Course Quality Work Group, a cross-functional group that has advanced a recommendation for the development and use of standard course templates in D2L for all courses that use this platform. Art of Equity, if you don't know what that is, it's our theoretical framework that guides our work in academic affairs to achieve the primary goal of Equity 2030 of closing the education equity gaps across race, ethnicity, socioeconomic status, and geographic location. Our implementation to date has been successful, yet we have not achieved a level of adoption that would ensure that we reach this goal. Going forward, individual faculty members and departments must spend time examining student outcomes in all courses and examine their pedagogical practices. Chancellor Scott Olson concludes that this is a moral and intellectual obligation. To advance in this area, I have asked CETL to expand its focus and programs and have discussed with the deans the importance of utilizing the PDP as a tool and vehicle for intentional conversations to establish clear expectations around student course outcomes. Faculty are a critical partner in ensuring that we achieve the bold goals outlined in Destination 2030. As we embark upon this journey to becoming a world-class, premier, first-choice institution, I am convinced that it is imperative that faculty, you should engage in dialogue this year to more closely define expectations for your respective departments around the criteria outlined in Article 22 of the IFO contract. It is my expectation that early in the spring semester of this academic year, each department will have developed, agreed upon, and recommended to the administration a minimum expectation for tenure, promotion to associate professor, and promotion to full professor. As we grow in prominence beyond our region, we will capture the attention of a more diverse pool of students and faculty alike. Clearly defined expectations in this area will assist us in attracting and retaining more highly skilled and qualified scholars to join your distinguished ranks. As I conclude my remarks, I would like to provide an answer to the most asked question I received last year. Drum roll, please. Thank you, Michael. The question was, when are you going to address all of these interims in the provost office? It was important for me to really understand the needs of this institution, and I could not do that in a month, 3 months, or even a semester. It was also imperative that I understand where we were headed strategically. I have shared this reorg with the Council of Deans, and they have provided their critical analysis of the composition of portfolios of each reimagined position to maximize efficiency and cohesion. I am so excited, and nothing against my amazing team, but they are all sitting in the interim and they're like, okay, when are you gonna do this so we can move on? But I'm really excited to be able to begin this process of building a permanent team that works alongside me in leading academic affairs and achieving the goals and the strategies outlined in Destination 2030. We will conduct searches for several positions aligned to the critical work. The newly envisioned leadership areas will lead university efforts in areas such as curriculum accreditation and assessment, faculty affairs and learning innovations, transfer, as well as research and graduate studies, global education, MNSU Online, academic strategy, and student learning and high-impact engagement. You will no doubt notice many moving parts and ongoing activities as we engage in searches for the reimagined positions. While the combinations and responsibilities for many of these positions are arranged through the lens of the new strategic plan, we are only adding one new leadership position that will be totally unfamiliar to the campus. This new leadership position will focus on operational efficiency and resource management for academic affairs, lending leadership support to our efforts in capturing savings, minimizing inefficiencies, and focusing our efforts on sustainability of our operations so we may strengthen our financial position and be able to invest in innovation, in new programs, and continue to attract exceptional faculty and expand our support for research, creative works, and scholarly activities. The first search will launch in early September, will be the Vice Provost for Academic Affairs. There will be a call for participation in the coming weeks. Thank you for your attention. I remain humbled for the opportunity to serve as your provost, and I am grateful for your support of the vision we continue to advance. I invite you to express your interest in engaging in the initiatives shared today. There should be a QR code. There it is. There's a QR code here that you can scan, and there are several of the initiatives that were outlined that you can express your interest. And throughout the semester, we will be engaging you, but the work begins now. Thank you so much. Have a great year.
Thank you, Provost Hood. And that concludes our 2023 Convocation program. Thank you all for joining us this morning, and we hope to see you at the annual barbecue lunch today from 11:30 to 1 on Mav Ave in the Centennial Student Union. Here's to a successful academic year, and go Mavs!